So now we're going to do an exercise on punctuation of independent clauses. In the following sentences, insert all necessary commas and semicolons. And in the space at the right, write the correct punctuation mark with the word that precedes it. Write C if the sentence is correct. I don't think we need to do this. Just put a check mark if the sentence is correct. But if we take a look at number 1, he was a well-known orator. But unfortunately, his audience was bored. So we have 2 complete sentences here. So of course, we need to use comma fanboys. And this is what we call a compound sentence. So actually, I'm going to type this. Independent, comma, but independent. And that is our compound sentence. All right. And number 2, the dinner was cooked and ready to serve. However, remember, however is our conjunctive adverb. So do I have another sentence after? I do. The guests had not arrived. So whenever I use conjunctive adverb between 2 complete sentences, I need to use semicolon. So the sentence is independent, semicolon, conjunctive. I'm going to write CA for conjunctive adverb, comma, independent. And that is, again, a compound sentence. So remember, whenever you join 2 or more independent clauses, we call them compound sentences. All right. And number 3, children are eager to learn. Their parents and teachers can take advantage. I'm going to cross out prepositional phrase of this enthusiasm. And now I have 2 complete sentences with and. So of course, comma, fanboys to join my 2 independent clauses. Independent, comma, and independent. And that is again a compound sentence. Number 4, the baseball game lasted nearly 4 hours. Cross out in the end, our team lost. So again, 2 independent clauses. I need to use comma and. So independent, comma, and independent. And that is our compound sentence. Now, number 5 is a lot more difficult. It's a lot longer. Because, remember, because is our subordinator. So it makes the clause grandfather was celebrating his birthday dependent. And we have the waitress brought a special cake. Cross out our prepositional phrase with 1 candle. And then several cross out of the restaurant's employees saying happy birthday. So we have 3 clauses here because several sang happy birthday. So essentially, I have 2 complete sentences, so I need to add a comma before the end. So what I have here is actually dependent, comma, independent, comma, and independent. So I have 3 clauses. And what do we call this? We call this a compound complex sentence. So remember, when you have 2 or more independent clauses paired with 1 or more dependent clause, we call it a compound complex. All right, number 6. The chocolates, and then I have a relative pronoun that Lynn brought us from Switzerland. This is an adjective clause, right? If you remember, an adjective clause is dependent and it modifies the noun before, which is chocolate. But our independent clause is the chocolates were delicious. Do I have another clause? I do. The only problem was that they were full of calories. So again, we have another dependent clause. This is a noun clause. So if you don't remember the difference between adjective that clause and noun that clause, go back and review those lessons. But essentially what we have here is independent with a dependent adjective clause in between, right? And then I have independent with a dependent noun clause afterwards. So this is a compound complex. And how do I join them? I can simply use a semicolon. All right, like a semicolon here. And this is compound complex sentence. All right, and our last example. Clyde and his family have a great sense of humor. So cross out humor. Visiting them, so remember this is our gerund phrase as subject, is always a delightful and memorable experience. So again, I have two complete sentences. So I want to use comma, fanboys, comma, and. So this is independent, comma, and independent. And we call this a compound sentence. All right, and that is it for this practice.